You need to check your Xbox messages now. Indiana Jones may not be exclusive to Xbox when it comes out, and Project Keystone is pivoting in a new direction. Let's discuss. Not too long ago, people discovered through data mining this new SKU was popping up for Xbox known as Project Keystone. And a lot of people are speculating on what that could be. Is it going to be a new Xbox console? Is it going to be some other type of hardware that Xbox is working on right now? If you go on over to Jez Corden's Twitter account, he has a pinned tweet at the very top of his feed that has an article written by him that explains that Project Keystone is actually the streaming stick that we've been hearing so much about. An Xbox streaming stick that you can plug into your HDMI port on your TV and play games directly to your TV without an Xbox console using the power of cloud gaming. And that of course makes a lot of sense. If you follow Jez Corden at all, he has a Xbox podcast known as Xbox 2. Him and Randall Thor come together every week to discuss the big topics in Xbox. And they were theorizing earlier that, I don't know, this doesn't seem like a new console, Project Keystone. This seems more software based. And it turns out that it's a little combination of both. It's a piece of hardware that you plug into your TV and then the software part takes over with the whole Xbox Cloud Gaming, Xbox Game Pass stuff. According to that article I was just talking about, in a statement provided to WindowsCentral, a Microsoft spokesperson described its commitment to lowering boundaries to Xbox content via low-cost hardware, while acknowledging that the existing version of Keystone needs a little more time to bake before going live. Our vision for Xbox Cloud Gaming is unwavering. Our goal is to enable people to play the games they want on the devices they want, anywhere they want. As announced last year, we've been working on a game streaming device codenamed Keystone that could be connected to any TV or monitor without the need for a console. As part of any technical journey, we are constantly reevaluating our efforts, reviewing our learnings, and ensuring we are bringing value to our customers. We have made the decision to pivot away from the current iteration of the Keystone device. We will take our learnings and refocus our efforts on a new approach that will allow us to deliver Xbox Cloud Gaming to more players around the world in the future. Jez goes on to say that from his understanding and from his team's understanding, Project Keystone has been in development for a couple of years. They've been working on it for a little while. But what it boils down to is, man, another delay. Another delay. How many more can we deal with? But that's alright, because I feel like cloud gaming right now, it's not quite ready to make that jump to a more mainstream audience, people who want to game without a console. Personally, I like cloud gaming, but it needs a little bit of tweaks. Technically, it's still in the beta phase, but anyone who's tried to play Halo Infinite on the cloud knows that you're not going to have a good time doing that. So hopefully by the time Project Keystone comes out, whenever the streaming stick comes out, the cloud gaming experience will have been elevated to the point where it's more consistent and a more enjoyable experience across the board. The article continues, the exact timeline for Keystone remains unclear, but I wouldn't expect to see it anytime soon, particularly not at the Xbox and Bethesda showcase coming up on June 12th. Either way, I still think Project Keystone, the streaming stick, is a really good idea for Xbox moving forward. I am a huge fan of eliminating this buy-in, this $300 to $500 barrier that it takes to play games. Obviously, having a streaming stick, something low cost, makes it more accessible financially. And that's awesome because things are getting more and more expensive, and it gives people less of an excuse to not try Xbox exclusive games. So even if games like Starfield and Redfall are exclusive to Xbox, sure, whatever, all you need to do is buy a little streaming stick or stream it from the cloud, and you can still play the games, you can still enjoy them, even if you have a PlayStation or Switch. And I think that's just a beautiful thing, gaming harmony. Next up, we got to talk about Game Pass. That is right, it would not be an Xbox Ready video if we did not talk about Game Pass in some capacity. We have this tweet from the Xbox Game Pass Twitter account with a banner that includes some of the games that we can expect in the month of June. The two big ones are Assassin's Creed Odyssey and For Honor Marching Fire Edition. Now, if you've been keeping up with the Xbox news, if you've been watching some of my videos, these two games, their addition to Game Pass this month, is not a surprise. We knew that Ubisoft was planning to bring these games to Xbox Game Pass, and it was a really positive sign for their relationship with Game Pass in general. I'm personally hoping that we see more Ubisoft games coming to Xbox. I know people have a lot of beef with Ubisoft, especially they were under a lot of scrutiny for their open world titles when Elden Ring came out, but I feel like it would continue to boost Game Pass's profile with more of these Ubisoft AAA open world games. We know there's already a couple titles on there on Game Pass from Ubisoft, like the Rainbow Six stuff, Extraction and Siege, and now Assassin's Creed Origins, For Honor, Marching Fire. I personally hope that they fold in Ubisoft Plus into Game Pass in some way going forward. After that, I think it is a huge win that they got Ninja Gaiden the Master Collection on here. I mean, I'm just a big fan of this franchise in general, and then the Master Collection, I think it came out in 2021, but it includes 3 games. So you got Ninja Gaiden Sigma, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. And it also comes with a lot of the previously downloadable content for these games, including DLC costumes and some game modes. And I know when they released it back in 2021, it gave you access to this really cool digital art book. I don't know if that's going to be the case for the Game Pass version. I'm not sure what all is included. I have to look further into that. But overall, I think a lot of Game Pass subscribers are going to be revisiting these games, and it'd be perfect for people who have never jumped into a Ninja Gaiden game before. They used to be pretty unforgiving. Not so much these 3 games that are on here, but back in the day, it was pretty brutal. This video is brought to you by NordVPN. With its super fast servers and 24/7 customer support, NordVPN is always ready to give you an extra level of security when you're out browsing the World Wide Web. It's a great way to protect your personal data when you're connected to public networks. They recently just implemented threat protection in their NordVPN app, which mitigates 3 types of threats: web trackers and malicious ads, harmful websites, and infected files. My personal favorite way to use NordVPN is to set my Netflix to other countries to access their catalogs. For example, I just finished up the I Am Hero manga, and I really wanted to watch the movie adaptation, but it was not available on the US version of Netflix. So I used my VPN to set my Netflix to Japan, where I was able to watch the movie adaptation. Of course, the best thing about NordVPN is that they're committed to making sure that you have a safe browsing experience. At the end of the day, a VPN is almost becoming necessary for modern internet browsing. Head on over to nordvpn.com/RayReady for a special deal courtesy of me. It's risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Outside of the big games, the classic games, I'm really intrigued by Space Lines from the Far Out. It's a game that's been available on Steam for a while. I'm pretty sure it came out almost a year ago, like August 2021. And it bills itself as a procedurally generated co-op adventure where you and your friends are the crew of an intergalactic travel company. It's your job to get your passengers to locations safe, happy, and hopefully with as little vomiting as possible. Honestly, I really love co-op games like this. This is kind of giving me Overcooked vibes, Moving Out vibes. I can see myself having a lot of fun with people actually in person. I know that's like a crazy thing nowadays. There's not a lot of co-op split screen action going on. Every game has to be online, or you gotta have your own console to play with each other. But I feel like this game could be a lot of fun. Next up, we got to talk about Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones. Why are we talking about Indiana Jones, Ray? What does that have to do with Xbox? Well, let me tell you. MachineGames, which is under the Bethesda umbrella, has been working on an Indiana Jones game, and everyone has been like, whoa, this is awesome, an Indiana Jones game. It's a huge IP that's going to be exclusive to Xbox. It could be Xbox's version of Uncharted, Xbox's version of Spider-Man. But according to this Twitter exchange, well, it all starts with Jez Corden. All roads lead back to Jez Corden or Jeff Grubb or someone like that. But Kid Smooth on Twitter says, @Jez Corden confirms Indiana Jones isn't exclusive #Xbox 2, which is Jez and Randall Thor's Xbox podcast. So I'm placing my money on Jez Corden. He's usually right about these things. He usually doesn't make bold, crazy predictions unless he kind of knows something that's going on. I understand why these video game companies, they hedge their bets on these exclusives. Of course, it drives people to your platform, but at the same time, I have a lot of questions about this. First off, I would just, like I said, I don't really care if the game is exclusive to Xbox or not, but I just would like some consistency, because we're kind of all over the place with that right now. So, you know, all the Bethesda stuff like Starfield, Redfall, that's going to be exclusive to Xbox consoles going forward. And at the time, I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense because they spent a lot of money on the ZeniMax acquisition, and I'm sure they want to leverage that as much as they possibly can. But on the other side, they've come out and said, hey, we're not going to make Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox. That's going to remain multi-platform. And now this with the Indiana Jones game. I would just like some consistency. Either it's all going to be exclusive or it's all going to be multi-plat. I can't keep going back and forth. It seems that they're trying to be super, super careful with exclusive stuff right now, as long as regulators are investigating the Activision buyout. I don't really know. I think they're trying to kind of play nice and be the good guys. So regulators are like, I don't know. It seems like they're pretty cool. Let's approve this deal because nothing crazy is going to happen. I also am not sure who holds the rights to Indiana Jones. A lot of those games haven't been exclusive per se. I mean, I'm thinking all the way back to KOTOR, rest in peace, that's not going to be exclusive to Xbox anymore. But I know that with these third-party characters, it's kind of tricky to nail down an exclusivity deal. I'm not sure if that had anything to do with this decision or this potential decision that Jez Corden's talking about. But again, it's just kind of confusing because there are some Bethesda games that are going to be exclusive to Xbox going forward. There are some Bethesda games that you can only play on PlayStation, like Deathloop. And then there are some Bethesda games that are going to be multi-platform. Again, I have a lot of questions, but like I always say, I am just a dude with a YouTube channel and a camera. And I like to think a pretty nice smile. So I don't know too much about these things, but it will be interesting going forward. The more we learn about Indiana Jones, the more we see about it, what influenced this decision for it to be potentially multi-platform instead of exclusive to Xbox consoles. If you want to keep up to date with all of the Xbox first-party games, the latest news regarding that, make sure you are subscribed and set your notifications to all. So after you're done listening to me ramble on about video games, you gotta check your Xbox Live messages. I know we get a lot of automated alerts from Xbox saying, hey, check out the Game Pass offerings. Hey, check out these new features. And a lot of that people are just like, I'll ignore that because it's from the Xbox account. It's kind of like when Snapchat sends you a message or Instagram or any of these other platforms. It's like, I'm not going to open that. Why would I? But again, you might want to check your Xbox Live messages because Xbox is sending some people $5 gift cards and in some cases $10 gift cards. And if that's the case, you're just leaving free money on the table. According to Wario64 on Twitter, he says, check your Xbox messages. Microsoft is giving another round of free gift card money that expires on June 30th. And in the screenshot that he shares, it's a message from the Xbox account that says, ready for the weekend? We've deposited a $5 USD gift card you can use to buy games, add-ons, movies, and apps on the Microsoft Store. Balance expires on June 30th, 2022. Sean Carey over at TrueAchievements.com. He says that it only seems to be being offered to players in the US, the UK, and the EU. As of right now, we're not really sure who's getting these gift cards, these $5 to $10 gift cards. It doesn't seem to have a rhyme or reason. A lot of people are saying, I've been with Xbox Live since day one and I've never gotten anything from them. What is up with that? Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, $5? Psh, that's nothing. What can I get with $5 in today's society? Well, let me tell you, you're right. $5 in today's world, it doesn't go far. But if you go to the Microsoft Store and go to the Xbox section, you can actually browse the list of games and put the filter on that says $5 or less. And that will show you all the games that you can buy with $5 if you have received a gift card from Xbox. You can also use that filter for any other category on the Microsoft Store. So again, movies, add-ons, everything like that. Say, hey, I just want to see the stuff that's $5 and less, and it'll show you a full list of what you can buy. Thanks again to NordVPN for sponsoring this video.